Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about dress code as a consultant. And the reason why I want to bring this up is mostly because now that the pandemic is kind of maybe dying down, we'll see how it's like, but I think we're going to go towards a time where like now people are going back to the office or going back to on-site or finally traveling and meeting people for the first time. And even though I feel like dress code is something that people kind of know, they also don't know. And I'm gonna also talk about a few lessons that I've learned myself, because I did have like someone pull me over for something before. So first off, the office, and then maybe all these particular situations, like maybe you're going to meet a managing director or you're going to meet the client for the first time, or a kickoff, or all these kind of things. How it's like on site, off-site. And when I'm saying off-site, it's like you're like at a client location, but you're not in the office. You're like probably in the hotel or at a restaurant or a client gathering or something like that. And then there's also gonna be aspects behind it as well. So I want to talk about the cultural aspect in terms of like maybe a country, and then another one could be by the office and the client, or by the company. There's like a lot of other factors out there. And then I'm also gonna throw in a special one, which is what should you wear to the airport, and vice versa. So if you stick until the end, that I think, like, honestly, it is something that a lot of people kind of forget about or don't even think about until they're like packing, like, oh my god, what do I wear? Or like they find out that they do it and then they kind of regret it. So first off is I want to preface that this all really depends by the company's culture. When I say company, I'm talking about your firm. So your firm's culture could be different. And then not to mention, some firms even have like subcultures where, like, if you're in technology consulting, you may have like a little more chill culture than if you're management consulting. So at least for me, I was actually able to go to the office dressed in a normal shirt. I don't even need to wear a blouse, but in the end, like, honestly, a lot of the stuff I wear are blouses, but like I still would not wear this off the shoulder shirt to work. So there is, like, I draw the line there. So smart casual. I wouldn't wear graphic tees. I wouldn't wear anything graphic, or I also wouldn't wear anything low cut or revealing like this. But I also can wear leggings to the office. So that's one thing. So there's a difference between, like, if you were in that kind of culture where you can go, like, you know, happy hour on a Tuesday kind of thing, that may have a different culture. And I think a lot of guys, they can wear sweaters, they can wear a t-shirt, they are smart casual, they can wear polo shirt, and then they're done. So that is something that, like, can depend by the culture. Then you may have like a little bit more of a strict culture. If you do have clients going to that office or that particular floor or wherever, then you may need to actually dress up a little bit. Sometimes they'll tell you to dress up a little bit more. So maybe you need to wear like a button-down shirt or something that is a little bit more formal than it is. So another one, like, maybe instead of wearing leggings, you can wear jeggings. That's my big tip, by the way, for all the ladies out there. You can wear jeggings. It looks like formal pants, but fitting and soft and comfortable, like yoga pants. And then that's like what I would say in terms of in the office. Not to mention, I always like to bring, for all the ladies out there, if you get cold easily in the office, and that's me all the time, I always bring like another shirt that is like almost like a cardigan or a long outerwear that is not a jacket, but it's a way to just keep me warmer for, like, when it gets cold, or if I go to a conference room that's extra cold, that I put that on. And it just looks nice if you wear a little blouse that doesn't necessarily have like anything puffy. Like if I wore a cardigan over this, it's just gonna have this extra puff on the side coming out from it. And I also recommend that whenever you go to the client office to come with another extra layer on top of that in case it gets cold. Even though the weather outside could be like, oh, 70 degrees, 80 degrees, maybe 90 degrees, the office most likely is gonna be cold, like 50, 60, and then you're gonna be like, shit, I'm not prepared, and I'm gonna have like goosebumps all this time, or I'm gonna be so cold and I'm just gonna be shivering. So you always want to bring like a little extra layer on top. For the boys though, I mean, like, most of them, they don't really have temperature issues, they just get really hot, in my opinion. But I would avoid gray, okay? Don't wear gray, don't wear anything where there's sweat stuff. I think a lot of people I know, at least like when they first start out, they wear like a dress shirt with nothing under. And that's when you see your nipples, or when you sweat, it sweats right through. So what I recommend is get like some kind of dry fit tank top under that works with the color. If you wear like a black tank top under a white shirt, no, don't do that. So do something like dry fit where even though you're hot, it won't sweat through. So that way it looks good, it feels good, and get one without seams so it doesn't actually like show through your shirt. It just kind of looks like it's like one seamless thing and it doesn't look like you're wearing anything under. You can wear nude color as well, or like the same color as your shirt, but then not all the time will it be like that, because like maybe a white shirt's a little bit see-through. So kind of play around with that. I'm not an expert with men's clothing, but I definitely do know, because you know, like my boyfriend is also a technology consultant. We both like have gone to the office, have gone to go travel to the airports and whatnot. I think the only thing he hasn't done is really go on site, because his role is like less on site and mine's more on site. But I do also know what other people have done from like the guys on my team or whatnot. So that's something to keep in mind. So on to the next thing, which is going on site. So when we say going on site, you're going to the client location. So this one typically is more varied by the actual client's culture, and specifically the team you're working on. That's where I'm going to bring in the story where when I was in Copenhagen for my first time on site, actually for this client, which was Copenhagen, ironically, it was like not even the New Jersey office, which is what they were based in the US. They were really casual. They had a sweater and they had pants, jeans sometimes actually. They wore sneakers or some nice shoes. But then I thought the same exact thing for going to the New Jersey office. No, the New Jersey office, they were literally wearing a dress shirt, they're wearing slacks and nice shoes. For me, I walked in with sneakers and I got in trouble. Like the client didn't really pick up on it, but my project manager was like, Christine, like next time don't wear sneakers, okay? It just doesn't look good. And one thing you can kind of do to kind of avoid this is if your whole team is all succinct and together, it looks a lot better than if you're the only one sticking out. So sometimes you may want to talk to your team like, what are you wearing? What are you packing? So that we can kind of know. But if you are, let's say for example, in some cases like me, the only girl, honestly, you just have to kind of like emulate what the other girls are doing from the client side, what they're dressed up. If they're wearing sweaters, if they're wearing like blouses, or they're wearing casual clothing, like sometimes you may have like a startup as a client or a very casual culture company, like I don't know, like Netflix or something, they probably wear crop tops, but you don't wear crop tops, okay? You want to always dress a little bit higher than the client. So even though the client may be wearing like a tank top to work, or they're wearing a crop top, or like wearing shorts, don't do that. Always dress up a little bit higher than them. But if they're already at business casual, just dress the same level as them. I think like some people may come in a suit. And I have actually seen an intern coming into client on site where we were wearing business casual. He was wearing a suit, which it looks nice. It's like cute and everything, but it just doesn't match. Like sometimes like the culture doesn't work. It just feels really stuffy. You end up becoming that consultant that looks like you have it all, or you have to do all this correct or whatnot, or you just seem a little bit more stuck up. But if you just have like a polo shirt, you wear some nice jeans or nice slacks or khakis, and then maybe like some loafers, and then for the girls, maybe wear a blouse or a sweater, or honestly, girls just have a lot more. Just don't wear anything that's revealing, or specifically like having a graphic that maybe could be a little bit not that good. Like, I don't know, if you have a heart on there, don't do it. But you could wear patterns. Just be careful about certain patterns that may look a little bit weird. So that is one thing I would say about going on site. Off site though, you can be a little bit more casual. This is sometimes a little bit more difficult to think about, because sometimes it depends on the actual occasion. If it's like a dinner, then you would want to kind of make sure it matches what the client's like, or whichever this location is like. If it's a fancy dinner, dress up like it's a fancy dinner. And mostly they're going to tell you ahead of time, like, oh, we're gonna go to this fancy dinner. Then you can pack for that, or you can wear something that same day that is up for that. Just don't wear like a ball gown dress or anything like that. Like, they're not expecting that unless they are actually literally inviting you to a ball. Then like, okay, yeah, sure. But like a lot of times, like even so, our holiday parties, like don't wear some very short dress that because your managing director's gonna be there, your partner's gonna be there. You wanna wear something that's classy, like wear a nice A-line princess style dress that isn't really that revealing, or don't really show that much cleavage. And then for guys as well, just wear you guys are so simple, just wear a suit, but don't wear too much suit sometimes. Like some people may go a little bit above and beyond, and that's just part of their personality. Like they wear suit and tie or a little tuxedo. You could do that. For girls, like just be a little bit more conservative when it comes to this, because you never know. Like even though this is your style, again, it does depend on the firm, but mostly whenever it comes to consulting, you're gonna be a little bit more conservative. So you kind of have to cover up a little bit. Like I would not go to a gathering like this, or a casual gathering. Like maybe if I was hanging out with friends from work outside at on a weekend, then yes, I may wear something like this, but I wouldn't wear this to the office or in any case, or maybe an offsite. I'd wear a little bit more conservative because you're still you may blur the lines between work and casual there, and you don't want to deal with that. So make sure you're just a little bit more conservative. Then you have the cultural aspect. So you have the times where maybe you're going to Japan, and whatever you're comfortable with, you need to think about what do they actually allow and what can they respect. So for example, if you were in Middle East, you may also need to look that up as well and see what do they like to do. So be careful, because maybe you don't have the clothing that they find acceptable. Maybe all your blouses have a V-neck. You need to find some undershirt then. You don't need to change a whole outfit or anything, or buy a whole new outfit when you go travel there. And maybe it's just so hot, then maybe you may want to look for lightweight clothing that is cooling but still covering. So usually my best tip for that is talking to whoever has already been on site there. So typically it's maybe the managing director, the partners, or some managers they've already gone there for maybe the orals part or the sales, and then you go there and then you ask them how do they dress up. But the thing is, sometimes those people mostly are men, so if you're a woman, you don't really have that much guidance on there. But for women specifically, I would, if you have friends from that particular area, I would ask them what do they like to wear, or Google it or watch YouTube videos on it. I think this must be the hardest one, because you just don't know sometimes how they're gonna react. You just don't want to play risks out there. Let's say for example you go to Japan and you wear a low cut shirt, or you have some shorts, and even if you're on the weekends and you're just there, you're only working Monday through Friday, and then you're there for the weekend for fun, and then you work again the next week, still be a little bit cautious with what you're wearing on the weekend, because you don't know how close you are to the client. And then what if the client sees you wearing this dress, or maybe this client saw you wearing a tank top, or gotta be careful, okay? So I think that's what I like to cover, and I hope that these help, because in terms of going on site and off site, that's usually where it gets interesting, because there are times where maybe the shoes you wear are a little bit off. Maybe you can wear sneakers, maybe you can't. So usually the first time ever it can get very confusing, or maybe when you would meet a different team. So let's say for example, I typically work with the finance team, but let's say for example, we now have a big town hall that we go meet in person, and now the CFO and the CEO is there. I want to dress up a little bit more for that. So think about it a little bit more, err more on the caution side. So try to be a little bit more conservative when that happens. And then each time, if you were to meet, let's say for example, in the same hotel as other people in the client, and then you go meet in the gym or something like that, because we've definitely had times like that where maybe the other offices have gone to the same hotel we have, and then we go to that headquarter that is in Copenhagen. You may go to the gym and you may see them dressed up in normal people clothes, So still be a little bit cautious that way, because you don't want to make it a little bit a little bit weird, where they may see you in a different way. If you were just, I think the worst situation, I haven't had this happen to me before, but I'm just thinking about it. If I was in a hotel where all the other offices from my client were to meet at that hotel and stay over there, and then we just report to the headquarters while we're there, then what if I was at the pool wearing a bikini, and then my client walks by? I'm oh shit. That is something I don't like to do. So if anything, I wouldn't go to the pool. If I did, I'd probably wear one piece. So that is something to be a little bit careful of, because I think a lot of people don't really think about it. They think about okay, what do I wear to the office? And then what do I do when I'm actually meeting out there? You could be casual, but you don't want to be stuck up. So if you have any questions at all, leave a question down below, or make a post in the Facebook group, because I think once we start opening up and a lot more people are going on site or off site, then you may have a lot of these questions. It's completely fine to have them, because even actual seasoned consultants, they still have the same question, because you don't want to be too out there wearing a suit when maybe the culture is very t-shirt let's think Facebook, think Google kind of people. And then, or vice versa, you underdress. So you always want to overdress, but then don't too overdress. I know it's a little bit interesting, but then the last one I want to talk about is, what do you wear to the airport? So I think a lot of people, they're just when they think about airport, they probably have the little neck pillow, and then they just wear the casual clothes. Maybe some people even wear pajamas. I don't understand people like that if they want to sleep there. But usually you want to make sure you're ready by land, like you're literally client ready the moment you step on the plane kind of thing. So make sure you have your shirt on, make sure you have like your business casual kind of clothing on. Don't dress anything like this just because like, oh my god, I just want to be cool for my flight. Don't do that. So you want to wear like business casual already, maybe have your shoes ready, but it's okay to wear like sneakers. So a lot of times I like to wear comfortable clothes and comfortable sneakers specifically on the day that I'm going to go fly. So if I have a little bit more like less comfortable clothes, I would leave that for the days I'm not going to the airport. And make sure if you have TSA pre-check, honestly, it will be a lot easier because you don't have to take off your belt or take off your jacket or anything like that. For me, I have TSA pre-check, so I don't have to really deal with that. But specifically, usually you want to be a little bit careful with like anything where it requires extra work. So I like to also bring that same sweater I talk about, like that you would wear when it's colder. So you bring that into your suitcase or your bag, whichever you have, hold in there. And then you also want to make sure you're client ready. So when I say that, it's like if you're a guy and you have like a blazer and everything and you want to wear that, you can hold that, but make sure you're still wearing your actual dress shirt on there. So as if you walked out and you were to go straight to the taxi or Uber and go to the office, you're ready. All you have to do is put that blazer on. So that's what I mean by client ready, is that imagine as if you're going off the plane and going straight to the client office, because many times it's going to be like that. You won't even have the time to go to the office or go to the airport. And sometimes vice versa. You also want to be able to go to the client office and then go straight to the airport from there instead of picking it up from the hotel. So you want to be ready for clothing like that, that is comfortable, but also not too inappropriate as well. So because of that, I think a lot of the ladies may be like, oh, I'm going to wear like this heavy jacket or have the like the sweater. And then you go there and it's like, oh, you're not ready. You have to change in the bathroom, and you don't want to do that because what if right off the bat you have to go, you're late to your meeting, or maybe you have to go check in and then you're dressed up in pajamas. Like, no, don't do that. So I think if it was like a Sunday and then maybe your meeting's on a Monday, you can be casual like that. But vice versa, like if you were leaving the next day instead of leaving the same day of your meeting. But chances are you're mostly leaving on the same day as your meeting and you're going straight to the actual client site. So be a little bit careful about that. So hopefully that helped. I think a lot of it is situational, but these are a lot of considerations to follow. So if I were to break it down very simply, think about the culture of your firm, the culture of your company, the culture of the country, or like the people that are working there, and the situations that come with it in terms of like, what if you meet them at the pool, or maybe you walk by, or like maybe you're close by, do you really want them to see you like that? So you kind of need to be a little bit cautious, because it's kind of like separation between work and personal, because once you're done with work, you're technically done, right? No, because you always need to know like, what if you bump into your client at the supermarket? So you may need to be a little bit more conservative about like wearing your Trump hat or something like that, or wearing some controversial stuff. Like that's something you can leave for when you're at home, but when you're on site or at the hotel or when you're on client location, don't do that. And when you're in the office, also do the same thing. If you have executives coming in or clients coming in, you may want to dress up a little bit more, but otherwise if you're in an area of the office or a floor or a specific time even that like no clients come in, you could just dress up however you want. But again, it just depends on the company or the culture of like wherever you are, like location wise. So think about that. Let me know what you guys think below, and then let me know if you like this video. Thank you so much, and see you guys next time. Bye.